In the last lecture we have seen how a random vector x bar is defined and how its expectation as well as variance covariance matrix is determined. Just to revise what we have studied yesterday, x bar, this will be a random vector if all of its components are random variables. So we are dealing with more than one variable at a time and collection of all such variables that we are going to define as a random vector. So since this is a random vector, it is a good practice to define its expectation, and therefore we have came to this terminology, expected value of x bar. And how to define this expected value of x bar, since x bar is collection of these components, these random variables, therefore expected value of x bar will be nothing but collection of expectations of these random variables. So expected value of x bar will be a vector whose components will be expected value of x1, expected value of x2 up to expected value of xn. So this particular vector will form mean vector of random vector x bar. Similarly, we have defined variance covariance matrix, and it will not be simply collection of variance of x1, variance of x2 and variance of xn. Since at a time we are dealing with several variables, therefore their covariances also has to be considered, and therefore as per the standard definition of variance of x bar, how something deviates from its mean value and its square was taken in univariate case, simply here we will take its transpose, and this square deviation, this will be a kind of square deviation from the standard value. So random vector, how it is deviating from what is expected from itself, so that square deviation will be, those four square deviation will be taken, and we are taking expectations of those square deviations. So variance of x bar will be determined using this particular thing. We had just put value of x bar as a vector x1, x2, xn, expected value of x bar like this. We have solved this particular expression yesterday, and we came across this variance of x bar as a matrix, and that was having dimension n cross n if we are having n random variables in the random vector x bar. So the first term was sigma 1 square, that was variance of x1. Second term in the first row, it was sigma 1 2, covariance between x1, x2, and the last term was covariance between x1 and xn. Similarly, in the second row, covariances of x2 along with x1, x2 up to xn were considered. So the first term here, it will be covariance of sigma 2 with 1 x1, it means it will be sigma 2 1, or it will be sigma 1 2. You can write it sigma 2 1 or sigma 1 2. Since covariance is commutative in its argument, therefore sigma 1 2 and sigma 2 1 will be same. Here the second term will be covariance between x2, x2, it means it is nothing but variance of x2 itself, therefore it will be sigma 2 square up to finally it will be sigma 2n. Lastly, in the last row, it will be sigma n1, sigma n2, and the last term here in the matrix will be covariance between xn, xn, it means it will be variance of xn. So accordingly, we have defined this particular variance covariance matrix. We also studied its properties as it is a square matrix, since if there are n variables, we are taking all the combinations of these n variables with each and every n variable in those components, and combination with itself is also considered. So there will be n pairs for every component, so that total pairs will be n cross n. Therefore this will be a square matrix. Moreover, it is a symmetric matrix, since covariance between x1 and x2 is same as covariance between x2 and x1. Therefore sigma 1 2 will be sigma 2 1. All the entries in this matrix will be mirror images along the diagonal, and therefore the matrix so formed will be a symmetric matrix. And third, it is non-negative definite matrix. Just like variance is a non-negative quantity in univariate case, here it is a non-negative definite matrix. Sigma is non-negative definite matrix. We have studied what it means by a matrix when it is a non-negative definite. So we will not go in that detail today. So we will move ahead with next thing, and that is multiplication of vector by a scalar. Now suppose this x bar is underlying vector which is having components as x1, x2, xn. So simultaneously we are dealing with several components. In this case we are dealing with n components. So n variables are dealt with simultaneously, and now suppose we came across certain situation where we have to calculate say c into x bar. So it means that suppose if we consider this n to be equal to 2, then we will be dealing with bivariate system. So suppose here x bar is there and x bar is say having value 2, 3. Suppose this is height measurement in certain units, this is weight measurement in certain units. Now suppose for some reason we want to change scale of this particular system. So on x axis, on y axis, on both the axes we want to change, we want to magnify this system 2 times. So 2x magnification is to be done. So this system is to be magnified 2 times. It means that this particular point will fall here 4, 6. So 2, 3 will become 4, 6. So there are certain situations where you need to magnify or compress the system. So there you are multiplying the given vector by constant c. Now this c is a scalar quantity. It belongs to real line. So that it implies that c is a scalar quantity. Now this is a scalar quantity and x bar is a vector quantity. So here what we are doing is we are multiplying a vector by a scalar quantity. So how to perform that? So c into x bar is nothing but c, it is a scalar quantity, into this x1, x2, xn. C is being applied to entire system, so that on every axis this c will get multiplied. Means here x1 will now become c into x1, x2 will now become c into x2, and xn will now become c into xn. So whenever we are multiplying by a scalar to a vector, that multiplication goes to the each and every component of that vector. Every component will be multiplied with c. So this, whenever we are multiplying by a scalar, that scalar will go inside the vector and it will multiply each and every component of the vector. So if here it is a vector, so say x1, x2, and suppose this x bar is equal to x1, x2, this is the vector, and now we want to have 3x bar. So this x1 will get multiplied with 3, so it will be 3x1. Instead of x1 now we will be considering 3x1. Similarly, instead of x2 we will be considering 3x2. So point will fall somewhere here. So this will be 3x bar. So whenever we are multiplying a vector by any scalar, that scalar will get multiplied with each and every component of the vector. Now we will see the concept of linear dependency of vectors. Means whenever we are saying vectors, whether they are linearly dependent or not, that we want to study. In univariate case we have studied whether x and y are independent or not. So if we want to consider independence in multivariate setup, we are not talking about stochastic independence, now it is mathematical independence. So if certain vectors are given and we want to verify whether they are independent on each other, then we have to consider this particular aspect. Now suppose in 2 dimension a vector is given, say here it is a vector say 2, 1, and other vector is say 1, 2. So these two vectors are given. This is 2, 1. This is 1, 2. So say x1 bar is 2, 1. x2 bar is 1, 2. So these two vectors are given. Now suppose third vector is given like y bar is equal to say 3, 4. Now if these two vectors are given, can we have this particular vector by some linear combination of these two vectors? So suppose if I want to find this particular vector, I have to go to this particular location 3, 4, say somewhere here. And what I have been taught is what is 2, 1 and what is 1, 2. How to reach this location and how to reach this location, that only I have been taught. and now I have to move to 3, 4. So for that, what I will do is y bar is equal to 3, 4. This vector will be considered to be some linear combination of these two vectors with the coefficients c1, c2. Now this will reduce to 2c1 plus c2, c1 plus 2c2. It is just a straightforward vector algebra. Now these are two equations in two unknowns, and therefore it is a solvable system. We will get some values of c1 and c2. So suppose if we quantify those c1, c2 values, then we can put those two values here, and just by knowing c1, c2, using these two vectors we can reach to this particular vector, and this applies to each and every vector in this particular system. Instead of 3, 4, if it was 7, 8, if it was 9, 15, then also we would have got this particular system of two equations in two unknowns, and c1, that will be solvable system. We will get value of c1 and c2. So it means that every vector in R2 can be expressed as a linear combination of 2, 1 and 1, 2, just by knowing these two values. Or say for simplicity, I will consider these two vectors. So along the x-axis, suppose this unit vector is there, 1, 0. Along the y-axis, 0, 1. This unit vector is there. Now I have been taught what it means by 1 unit on x-axis and what is the direction. What is the positive direction on x-axis, what is the positive direction on y-axis, that also I have been taught when I have been given this particular vector. And this is the scaling, this is the 1 unit on y-axis. So what is scaling on x-axis, what is the scaling on y-axis, which is positive direction on x-axis, which is negative direction on y-axis, positive direction on y-axis, that all things I have been provided. Now if I want to reach to 3, 4, I will simply consider this vector 3 times. So 3, 1, 0 plus I will consider this vector 4 times. So once I have been taught this, means suppose if I have been taught only like this is the origin, on x-axis means this direction, and 1 unit means this much distance. So this I have been taught. Then y-axis, it may be this side, it may be going towards this side, but it has been taught to me that it is y direction, and this is, so scale may be different. So this is 1 unit on y-axis, so that this point is 0, 1. So now I have been given positive direction of x, positive direction of y, and what it means by 1 unit on both the axes. Now whenever I have to reach to 3, 4, I will perform this particular operation 3 times. I will continue this direction and I will move ahead. I will do this vector 3 times. So 1, 0, 1, 0. From here I will be again moving 1 unit ahead, and then again I will be moving 1 unit ahead, so that this will be 3. Similarly on this axis I will perform this operation 4 times, so that I will be reaching to point 0 to 4. So this particular point of intersection of this line and this line is nothing but a point P4. So just by this particular thing, we can, just by starting from this particular setup, we can find entire two-dimensional geometry, xy plane. Just by knowing these two particular things, what we need is which is the x direction, which is the y direction, and what is the scale on x and y. And therefore this 1, 0 and 0, 1, these things are called as basis of this particular system, because this forms the basis, in the sense this is the building block for this particular xy plane. Once we know this, then any point in xy plane can be determined using linear combination of these two, and therefore this particular is called as basis. Now suppose 1, 0, 0, 1 and some one more two-dimensional point is there, let's say 2, 3. Now as we can see, 2, 3 can be formed using linear combination of these two. Now if 2, 3 can be formed by linear combination of these two, it means that 2, 3 is not independent on this. 2, 3 depends on this. Their linear combination is itself 2, 3, and therefore 2, 3, if we consider this particular set, this will not be a linearly independent set or set of linearly independent vectors. So whenever we wish a particular set of vectors to be linearly independent, what it means that neither of no any event, no any set from that, no any vector from that particular set should be expressed in terms of linear combinations of orders. So suppose set is given like, say there are several vectors a1 bar, a2 bar and say a n bar, and we want to verify whether this is set of linearly independent vectors. So if we want all these to be linearly independent, then it should be like this 1 0. Now suppose 1 0 is only this much is provided and we want to reach to this 0 1, then it is not possible. Whatever linear combination you take, or suppose 1 0 along with that, suppose you are given another vector 3, even if you take any linear combination of these two, you are not going to get c1 into this plus c2 into this is equal to 0 1. The equation will be 3c1 plus c2 is equal to 0, and this 0 0, c1 0 plus c2 0 is equal to 1. So you will have only one equation and two unknowns, therefore this is not a solvable system. So it means that 0 1, this particular vector is linearly independent on these vectors. So similarly this set of vectors is to be examined for linear independence. So what we expect, if we want this particular set of vectors to be linearly independent, then no any vector should be expressed in terms of other vectors. Means suppose if I take a particular example, say this an. So if I can express an as c1 into a1 bar plus c2 into a2 bar plus cn minus 1 into an minus 1. If I am able to arrange this particular combination of a1 a2 up to an minus 1 and that comes out to be an, then an is dependent on these vectors, right? Because an is being expressed in terms of remaining vectors, and if that happens, then an bar, this particular vector, depends on a1 a2 up to an minus 1. So even if this linear combination is set k times an, then this k can be moved here, c1 upon k, c2 upon k, cn minus 1 upon k, that can be considered, and these constants can be revised. So exactly an you may get, or you may get some scaled version of an. But whatever be the thing, these vectors are getting combined with each other to form an bar, and therefore an bar will be dependent on these vectors. If we want these to be linearly independent, then what it means that whenever a linear, suppose if this an bar is taken on this side, suppose here it is k, or suppose here it is cn. So if we take this on this particular side, then it will be c1 a1 bar, c2 a2 bar up to this cn an bar, and it will be equal to 0. So this cn, suppose it absorbs the sign, so new cn is revised as minus cn. Earlier cn with minus sign, that will be our new cn. So, or suppose here it is cn star, so minus of cn will be now cn. So here this linear combination is now a 0 bar, 0 vector. This quantity, whenever it comes to this side, here it will be only 0 bar, it will not be a single scalar 0. So now this linear combination is equal to 0, and suppose if this particular c1 is non-zero quantity. Now consider this linear combination, and this linear combination is equal to 0, and for the simplicity, or for the sake of convenience, suppose c1 is not equal to 0. Then what we can do is c1 a1 bar is equal to all these remaining quantities. We can write it in this way, and then a1 bar, since c1 is not equal to 0, it means that we can divide by c1 to this particular thing. So it will be c2 upon c1 a2, c3 upon c1 a3, and so on. So we are able to express a1 in terms of linear combination of other vectors, and this happens because this c1 we can divide by c1 to this particular side. We don't want that luxury. So if we don't want ourselves to be able to divide by c1, then c1 has to be 0. Only then we will be unable to divide it by 0, divide it to this particular expression. So if c1 is equal to 0, but if c2 is not equal to 0, then if c2 is not equal to 0, then we can arrange this particular thing as c2 a2 bar is equal to remaining quantity. We can divide it by c2, so that whichever constant is non-zero, corresponding vector can be considered to be linear combination of others, and therefore we want this expression to be 0 only when all ci's are equal to 0. If that happens, it means that no ai bar can be expressed in terms of linear combination of others, and therefore the definition of linear independence of vector goes like this: if c1 a1 bar plus C2 A2 bar up to Cn An bar. If this particular linear combination is 0 bar, then it should directly imply that all Ci's are 0. So this linear combination has to be equal to 0 only when all Ci's are equal to 0. If this happens, then only this particular set of vectors a1 bar, a2 bar up to an bar, this set of vectors will be linearly independent set of vectors. If any of Ci is equal to, if any of Ci is not equal to 0, then that particular corresponding Ai will be expressible as a linear combination of other vectors, and therefore this particular set will be called to be linearly independent. So if C1 A1 bar is equal to 0, this C1 A1 bar plus C2 A2 bar plus C3 A3 bar plus Cn An bar, if this is equal to 0 bar and still some Ci is not equal to 0, among all these Ci's at least one Ci is not 0, if this happens, then this is set of dependent vector. At least one vector is dependent on other vectors, and therefore it becomes set of dependent vectors. So linear dependent vectors are called linear dependent if their linear combination is 0, even if all Ci's are not equal to 0. And for linear independence, what is the definition? Set of vectors a1 bar, a2 bar, an bar is said to be linearly independent vectors, is said to be a set of linearly independent vectors if their linear combination is 0 only when all Ci's are 0. Only when all Ci's are 0, then only their linear combination is 0. If this happens, then those vectors a1 bar, a2 bar, an bar will be said to be linearly independent vectors. And even if all Ci's are not equal to 0, even if there is some Ci, at least one Ci which is not equal to 0, and then also this particular combination is equal to 0 bar, then this particular set of vectors will be said to be linearly dependent vector, because whichever Ci is not equal to 0, corresponding term, suppose C3 is not equal to 0, then we can put this particular thing on left side and all other components will be brought to the right hand side, and then we can divide by C3 to this particular expression, so that A3 will be equal to something into A1 plus something into A2 plus something into An. So it means that we are now able to express A3 as a linear combination of remaining vectors, and therefore this becomes set of dependent vectors. So the definition for linear independence is linear combination will be 0 only when all Ci's are 0. If this happens, then that will be a set of linearly independent vectors, and if linear combination will be 0 even if some of the Ci's are not equal to 0, then that set will be called as set of dependent vectors. Now scalar product of two vectors. Now we have seen product of vector and scalar, means suppose this x bar is equal to x1, x2, xn. This is one variable in the vector, and we have multiplied it by, say, a real number c. So this is scalar multiplication with the vector, so it will be cx1, cx2, cxn. Now what we have to do is, along with this particular vector, some other vector is there, y1, y2 of same dimension, yn. Whenever we are saying vector, it is taken to be column vector by default. So now two vectors are there, x bar, y bar, and we want to multiply them with each other, and that multiplication will be a scalar. Means we will be taking multiplication as x prime y bar. Now here dimensions are n cross 1, here also dimensions are n cross 1. Directly if we try to multiply this way, x bar, y bar, dimensions will not match from multiplication point of view. These two vectors are not compatible for multiplication. So what we will do is, we will take multiplication like this, x prime, y bar. So this x prime will have dimensions 1 cross n, y bar will have dimensions n cross 1. So column dimensions of first matrix and row dimension of second matrix matches, and therefore multiplication is valid, and resultant will be 1 cross 1. So this multiplication will be x1, x2, xn. This will be one vector, and y1, y2, yn. This will be the other vector. So it will be multiplication of a row vector with column vector. So this multiplication can be done. This is nothing but, now this is 1 cross n cross 1. So resultant is going to be 1 cross 1. First row, first column, that is the only thing we have to do. So first row into first column means x1 into y1 plus x2 into y2 plus xn into yn. This is a scalar quantity, a vector of 1 cross 1 dimension, so it becomes a scalar. So this x bar and y bar, these two vectors are multiplied with each other to get a scalar output. So this particular multiplication is called as a scalar multiplication. So if you closely observe this particular multiplication, it is nothing but addition of component wise multiplication. So this x1 will get multiplied with y1, x2 will get multiplied with y2, xn will get multiplied with yn, and simply it will be addition. So component wise products and then addition, this will be x prime y. Now suppose if we perform this operation, instead of x prime y, suppose I take y prime x, then it will become y1, y2, yn. This row vector will get multiplied with column vector x1, x2, xn. Again dimensions are 1 cross n cross 1, so that resultant is going to be 1 cross 1. But the resultant will be y1 into x1 plus y2 into x2 plus yn into xn. Now these components, even if y bar is a vector, its components are scalars. y1 is a scalar, y2 is scalar, yn is scalar. Similarly, all xi's are scalar. So that this is product of two scalar quantity. It is simply like 2 into 3 or 5 into 9. So whenever we are taking scalar multiplication, it is commutative. 3 into 9 is same as 9 into 3. So if y1 into x1 can be written as x1 into y1. This can be written as x2 into y2, since we are multiplying scalar with scalar. Now this 1 cross 1 vector or this scalar is nothing but this particular thing, so that y prime x is same as x prime y. So whenever two vectors, say a bar and b bar, are given of same dimension, say p cross 1, then we will have the expression a prime b bar is equal to b prime a bar, and this both the expressions will be a scalar quantity of dimension 1 cross 1. And what that quantity will be? It will be addition of component wise multiplication. So a1 components of a bar will be multiplied with corresponding components of b bar. So a1 b1 plus a2 b2 up to ap bp. So this multiplication will be nothing but a prime b or b prime a bar. So this scalar multiplication is commutative in nature. Now we will see product of a vector by vector of a constant. Now this x bar was taken to be x1, x2, xn, and what we did was we multiplied this x bar by a single scalar c1. So x1 bar, x2 bar, x1, x2 up to xn, this particular vector was multiplied by a constant c1, so that it will become c1 into x1, c1 into x2 up to c1 into xn. So that this will be c1 into x bar. Now what we want to do, this c1 is from real line. So from real line we are picking some constant, and here in multi-dimensions we are having a vector. So this vector is getting multiplied by some constant in real number, real line. Now instead of considering constant on real line, we can consider a constant of vector. This is a random vector. Now suppose if we consider a vector which is constant, so that is not going to be a random thing. So that constant vector will be there. Say c bar is a vector such that it is c1, c2 up to cn. So this is a vector of constant. So c bar will now belong to n dimension. Earlier c1 was belonging to r. So now c bar, this particular vector is, it is again a vector of constants, but it is a vector from n dimension. This particular vector, one dimensional vector or a scalar quantity, was from real life. Now this c bar is to be multiplied with x bar. So similarly, just like we have done a prime b bar, we will do c prime c bar into x bar. If we want to have this particular multiplication, we will have scalar multiplication as c prime into x bar. Again c prime into x bar will be going to be same with c prime x bar. we'll see what C prime into X bar comes out to. So C prime is nothing but C1, C2 up to Cn. X bar is nothing but X1, X2 up to X2, Xn. So that this multiplication will be C1, X1 plus C2, X2 plus Cn, Xn. Now if we observe here, it is just addition of these components x1, x2, xn. Whatever components in x bar are there, those components have been added here, and while adding we have given certain weightages to different components. So x1 is getting weightage as c1, x2 is getting weightage as x2. So it is just weighted addition of components. So whenever we are doing c prime x bar, this operation we are adding components of x bar, and those components are being added by adding certain weightages to those components, by accompanying certain weightages to the components of vector. In particular, suppose if I take c bar is equal to say vector like this 1, 1, 1. So it is a vector of dimension n cross 1, and it is containing all values as 1. Then here c1 will be 1, c2 will be 1. So it will reduce to x1 plus x2 plus xn. So whenever we are having a vector x bar as x1, x2, xn, and we want to add all these terms, and we want to have certain mathematical operation which will perform these things, then we can simply take c bar to be vector of ones, and we will perform this matrix operation c prime x bar. So that we will get x1 plus x2 plus xn. So whenever we want to add all the elements in particular matrix, we will simply multiply it. We will have scalar multiplication of vector of 1, 1 along with that particular vector. Now instead of this 1, 1, now suppose c bar is 1 and then all others are 0. Then it will simply become c prime x bar will become x1. 1 times x1, and all 0 times x2 plus 0 times xn, so those will vanish, it will be simply x1. So whenever we want to extract a certain entry from x bar, we can use this particular approach. In future we are going to use this particular thing. Even if entire vector is given and we want to have only one component of that vector, we want to extract, and this you will get some idea. This is a random vector and we want to have some distribution, marginal distribution of x1 only. In that case, on this particular vector we are getting some linear combination, and in future whenever we are going to learn distribution of a linear linear combination of a vector, suppose this vector probability distribution of this vector is given, and how to calculate distribution of linear combination of vectors, that whenever we are going to study. After that, if we consider this as a particular linear combination, then we will end up with marginal distribution of x1. Now suppose we want to have marginal distribution of x1, x2 only, then we will consider here vector as 1, 1 and then 0, 0, so that it will be x1 plus x2. We will get distribution of x1 plus x2 here. So accordingly we will have certain linear combinations at our hand. So these things will work as basis. Whenever in future we need these quantities, we are going to recall these particular things. Now suppose this C is given to be in general C1, C2, Cn. This C bar is n dimensional constant vector, x bar is a random vector, x1, x2, xn, and we wish to have this particular linear combination. So this combination is nothing but a scalar quantity c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn. Now this x bar, all these things, all parameters about this x bar, we are having all the information about this x bar. We know expected value of x bar, we know variance of x bar. So suppose this x bar is given in n dimension, and its expectation, variance, all those quantities have been provided, or we have calculated those quantities. Now what will be the expectation? If this is a linear combination of x bar, then naturally we will consider the next query as, if this is the linear combination, then how its expectation will be related with expectation of x bar. So if we somehow we know expectation of x bar, can we use that expectation to find expectation of c prime x bar, or again we have to do entire process to form expectation of this particular thing? So fortunately, by knowing only this expectation, we can calculate expectation of this particular quantity. So expectation of c x bar, now this c x bar is nothing but a scalar vector, and whenever we are considering a scalar quantity, this is a scalar quantity, and we have seen that if x is a random variable and c is a constant, then expected value of cx is nothing but c into expected value of x. If x is non-negative random variable, if x is arbitrary, or if x is simple, in all the cases expected value of cx comes out to be c into expected value of x. This c can be taken out of the expectation. So can we take c here, c prime is there, can we take this c prime out of the expectation? That we want to study. So I will just expand this c prime x bar. C prime x bar is nothing but c1 into x1 plus c2 into x2 plus cn into xn. Now expectation, linearity property of expectation you all know. So this expectation will be same as c1 into x1 plus expected value of c2 into x2 plus expected value of cn into xn. So expectation will be calculated component wise. For every term we will calculate expectation and then we will add it. Now here we can use this linear property, this property where we can bring this c out of the expectation. So c1 is a constant, x1 is a variable, so it reduces to a univariate setup. Since c1 is a constant, it will come out c1 into expected value of x1. This will be c2 into expected value of x2. Then finally it will be cn into expected value of xn. Now here if we now if this c1 x1 c2 x2 cn xn, this was c prime x bar, then same way we can write this as c1 c2 cn, this vector into expected value of x1, expected value of x2, expected value of xn. So whenever we solve this particular multiplication, it will be c1 into expected value of x1, c2 into expected value of x2 and cn into expected value of xn. So this linear combination we have written as a matrix algebra. Now this c1 c2 cn, this is nothing but c prime, and this expected value of x1, expected value of x2, expected value of xn is nothing but expected value of x bar. So that here this c prime has been taken out of the expectation. What we have done here is we have taken c prime out of the expectation. So whenever we are having such expression, say expected value of a prime into y bar, we can bring this a prime out of the expectation. It will become a prime into expected value of y bar. Okay. Now this is about expectation. Now suppose we want to calculate variance of, say we have taken c prime, so we'll stick with that notation only. Variance of c prime x bar. We want to calculate variance of c prime x bar. Expected value of c prime x bar, that comes to be c prime into expected value of x bar. If this expected value of x bar is denoted by mu bar, then this will reduce to c prime mu bar. This is just notation. These are just notation. Now variance of c prime into x bar, that we want to find out. So as per the definition of variance, how that quantity differs from its expectation, and that deviation is taken in squared manner. So in multi-dimensions we will take product of this given quantity along with product of component or transpose, and expectation will be taken. So this is the deviation, this is again deviation, and this is the transpose of deviation. If it was univariate case, we would have squared this particular quantity. Since we are in multivariate setup, we will just take multiplication of given vector of this particular vector and vector transpose vector. Now this we can solve as expected value of, if we multiply this, now here it is c prime x bar minus, this is the underlying quantity c prime x bar, whose variance we wish to calculate. This c prime x bar, ideally it is expected to take this particular value, but it is deviating from that value. So this deviation is considered here, c prime x bar minus expected value of c prime x bar, and same this deviation is again considered here with transpose quantities, so that this will be a kind of square deviation. Now c prime x bar into this quantity, so c prime x bar. Now we have to be cautious here because here it is transpose. So c prime x bar will not directly get multiplied with this. This will be transposed first and then it will get multiplied. And we know the property of transpose, AB transpose is equal to B transpose into A transpose. So order will change. So that c prime x, its transpose will be x prime c. Again we know transpose of B transpose is nothing but B itself. So C transpose will become C. So this order will change. It will be x prime and then C transpose will be C. So x prime C. Then first term and this second term with minus sign. C prime x bar as it is. Now here expected value of C prime x bar, here we have seen it is nothing but C prime, say we will use this particular notation mu. So it will be C prime mu and its transpose, so it will be mu prime C. It will become mu prime C. Now here expected value of C prime x bar, again it is C prime mu, so minus C prime mu into this C prime x transpose, so it will be x transpose C, and the last term will be plus term. Expected value of C prime x bar is C prime mu into expected value of C prime x, again it is C prime mu, its transpose, so mu transpose C. This entire quantity, expectation of this entire quantity will be taken. Now this will become expected value of this first quantity C prime x bar prime C as it is. C prime x bar mu bar, if you consider these three quantities, they are going to be the same quantities. We will come to know that when we bring this expectation inside. Minus expected value of this particular thing. Now here whatever quantity was there, expected value of C prime x bar, if it is C prime mu, similarly expected value of x prime C is going to be expected value of x prime into C. It means that whatever constant is there in the expression, that constant will come out of the expectation from the same side. If it is pre-multiplier in the expectation, it will be pre-multiplier for this expectation. If it was post-multiplier in the expectation term, then after calculating expectation, it will post-multiply. So whenever we are bringing some constant out of the expectation, we have to be careful in multi-dimensions. That constant will come out on same side as it is in the expectation. So here this C prime will come out of the expectation. It will be expected value of x bar, mu prime C, mu prime is constant, that will come out, and then C. Here we don't have to change the order. Whatever order is there, we should stick with that particular order. Again here C prime mu expected value of x prime into C plus C prime mu prime C, so that this will be again here also this expectation, in this particular expectation term, this C prime will come out as a pre-multiplier. In bracket it will be expected value of x bar prime. C bar will come out as post multiplier. These are vectors. Minus, now here if we observe, this expected value of x bar is nothing but mu. This expected value of x prime is nothing but mu prime. So it is C prime mu prime C, C prime mu prime C, C prime mu prime C. So all these three terms are similar. So this plus minus one term will get cancelled and only one will remain. So this term will maintain C prime mu bar into mu prime C bar. Now this particular expression will be C prime expected value of x bar prime into C bar minus C prime. Now this mu bar I will write it as expected value of x bar mu prime expected value of x bar prime into C bar. Now in this both the terms C prime is pre-multiplier. So if in matrix algebra, suppose if it is given as 2 times A plus 2 times B, then we can calculate, we can take this 2 outside, it becomes 2 times A plus B. Or even if suppose A prime A plus A prime B, the expression is like this, then also you can write it as A prime B. This scalar multiplication is distributive over addition, and therefore we can take that A prime outside of the expectation. And same thing we are going to perform here. This C prime will be pre-multiplier and C bar is post multiplier. These two things are common, and whatever remains in bracket is expected value of x bar prime. This is from the first term, and from the second term it is expected value of x bar and expected value of x bar prime. So this C prime, this C bar, and this is nothing but expected value of x bar prime minus expected value of x bar prime. It is nothing but variance covariance matrix. We have seen yesterday that it is variance covariance matrix of random vector x bar. It is similar to expected value of x bar minus expected value of x bracket square. In one dimension we have variance of x defined like this. Variance of x is expected value of x square. Instead of x square it is product of given vector with its transpose minus expected value of x bracket square. Instead of taking square of this, we have taken this quantity and its transpose, expected value of x bar and transpose of it. So the expression is analogous to the variance of x in univariate case. So now this turns out to be c prime sigma x, means variance of c prime x bar is nothing but c prime sigma c bar. So this c prime, or if x bar is a given vector and say y bar, we have defined a new vector as c prime x bar, then now we have derived expected value of y bar, that is nothing but expected value of c prime x bar. It is nothing but this c prime will come out of the expectation and this term will be c prime into expected value of x bar, and variance of, sorry, here it will not be y bar, it is linear combination of these vectors c prime x bar, and therefore it is a scalar quantity. So it is a random variable, not the random vector, it is random variable. Y is a random variable and its variance will be nothing but variance of y is nothing but c prime x bar. So this variance comes out to be c prime sigma c. Now here expected value of x bar, if x bar is having dimensions n cross 1, then expected value of x bar will have dimension n cross 1. C prime, since it was multiplied with x bar, it means it has dimensions 1 cross n. So that resultant dimensions will be 1 cross 1. So y is a scalar quantity, y is a variable, scalar variable, whose mean is this 1 cross 1 quantity. And now here also c prime will have dimension 1 cross n, sigma will have dimension n cross n, so that this resultant will have dimension 1 cross n, and it will multiply with c bar, which is having dimension n cross n. So resultant will be having dimension 1 cross 1. So by this particular operation, even if it is matrix and vector multiplication, the resultant is going to be 1 cross 1, and that scalar quantity is nothing but variance of random variable y. This is a random variable. So in some cases there are several variables under study, and among those several variables we wish to calculate, just 1 minute, we wish to calculate a linear combination of those many vectors, and whatever linear combination is there, we wish to have expectation of that linear combination or variance of that that linear combination. Just 1 minute. Variance of that linear combination. So suppose in some cases x bar is defined as x1, x2, say x3. Suppose x1 is height, x2 is weight, and x3 is say age. Based on these three, what is your height, what is your weight, and what is your age, based on this, suppose some health indicator has been defined. So to define a health indicator, we have defined a variable y, that will be say c1 into height plus c2 into weight plus c3 into age. So while calculating that health indicator, certain weightage is given to the height, certain weightage, different weightage is given to the weight, and same for age. So this y is a random variable, not the vector, and this is just a linear combination of height, weight, and age. So whatever information is given on these vectors, based on that we can find expected value of y as well as variance of y. So that whatever components were there for the given vector, all those components have been combined in linear manner, and if that linear combination is going to be a variable, so based on the expectation and variance of the given random vector, we are calculating expectation and variance of the converted random variable, and that converted variable in the sense it is nothing but linear combination of components of given random vector. So now suppose there are two vectors, say x bar and y bar. and we wish to calculate covariance between x bar and y bar. So this will be homework, this we will be studying tomorrow, but just I'm giving some food for your thoughts. We have studied variance of x bar, how to calculate it, what are the properties of variance covariance matrix. Now suppose there are more than one vector in picture, so instead of calculating covariance of x bar, now we are dealing with two vectors at a time. So x bar, it is a one vector of say dimension n, y bar again in the same dimension, this vector is there. We wish to calculate covariance of x bar, y bar. So how that will be calculated, this is your first homework. And secondly, if this has been calculated, then suppose in some situation this x bar, suppose this is a height, weight, age kind of vector, so I am taking some linear combination of that. So this is health indicator. Suppose if this y bar is again observed on the same sampling unit, and this corresponds to some, say y bar is income, occupation kind of variable, so that this y bar will this vector will give financial status of the units, and this x bar will tell us about the health condition of the sampling unit. Now this y bar is again converted into a linear combination, so this is the indicator of financial status of the person, and this is the indicator of health condition of that particular person. And now I wish to find covariance between these. So how these two things are related, what is their mutual covariance, mutual variation. So if covariance x bar y bar is calculated, how to calculate covariance between a prime x bar and b prime y bar. And then now we have considered linear combination of given vector, say x bar, a prime x bar, and its variance has been calculated. Now instead of a prime x bar, if I consider several linear combinations of given components, a prime x bar, whenever I am doing a prime x bar, this is just a one linear combination. Now I am considering another linear combination that will appear here, one more linear combination that will appear here, one more linear combination that will appear here, so that this will be matrix, say A, so A into x bar will be equal to y bar. So if y bar is defined as a into x bar, this is a matrix. So we are simultaneously dealing with several variables. So what will be the variance of a x? Variance of a into x. This is nothing but collection of several linear combinations of components of random vector x bar. So these three are the homework: covariance between x bar, y bar, covariance between a prime x bar, b prime y bar, and variance of several linear combinations of a matrix.